Hey officers, Shelly here. So today we are going to be talking about multiple pen names and how I separate my pen names. So if you guys do not know, I am somebody who writes in multiple different pen names. Pen names are just basically different pseudonyms or different names that I publish under. So there is my Shelly Kids pen name, which is the one that I mostly talk about here on this channel. Shelly is the one who writes my middle grade books. Her current series that she's working on is the Bugztopia PD Series. This is a series that we wrote for our nephew who at the age of 7 asked us to write him a book series. It took us about 3 years to publish that book series, and he's in love with it. I'm in love with it. And every day it keeps expanding. Even though I'm not working on it every day, it is expanding. But I also have 2 other pen names that I work under. So the other pen names are Grace Kits and Maris Kits. Basically what you need to know about them is like each of my pen names has their own brand or their own style of writing. Now each book is written a little differently. But for like the Grace Kits pen name, it is basically it's a young adult or picture book series that has a lot to deal with Christian, Catholic beliefs and stuff. While also the young adult novels have to deal a lot more with like mental health issues. I don't like issues, but mental health struggles that people, like real life characters could deal with. And then the picture books that Grace writes are about saints. About different Catholic saints. We really enjoy writing them. It's really fun. And then the third pen name that we have is Maris. Unfortunately, Maris doesn't get much time. I say that like she's a person. But Maris as a pen name and as a work in progress, like we don't really do much work with her right now. Again, I talk about her like she's a person. Just know it happens. But Maris writes in high fantasy adventure series, so I would like to think like once kids get old enough and move past the Shelly Kids pen name, they will then move into the Maris Kids pen name. Because I feel like Maris is going to be the more adult version of Bugztopia, but not necessarily specifically Bugztopia. But it's going to be like an epic fantasy series that covers lots and lots of different types of fantasy creatures. So I've got like plans for fairies and orcs and gnomes and stuff like that. Like there's just a wide variety of things. It'll be a very massive series, similar to how Bugztopia is. But yeah, it's gonna be a huge, massive world, and I really can't wait to get into it. I'm just trying to get the Shelly Kids pen name off the ground, and then also working on getting the Grace Kids pen name off the ground currently. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to get them all separated. Not separated because I know what each one represents and who the voice, like what voice the story is for. But it is challenging because I only have so much time in the day. And since I do struggle with some different mental health issues, it is hard for me to always be like being able to write the whole day. Because the last 2-3 weeks, I've spent over 25 hours working on just edits for one of my Grace's projects. And I'm just like, as much as I would like to have finished the Grace project already, like this current stage that I'm in, I'm like, I know I have to take breaks because I'm not equipped to work as much as possible. It's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, that does mean that like Shelly's world, or I guess my world in Bugztopia, does take a back seat. Just because I'm not currently publishing any books. I do want to continue to publish books. It's just I don't have the financial means to publish them. And like as much as I would like, the reason I'm working on Grace right now, the Grace projects, is because I'm like, those I would like to do traditional publishing with, which basically traditional publishing is having someone other than myself publish the books. And with the publishing of the books, like They would also give me an advance, which is basically just paying me for my work. And ideally what I would do is pay, like, the money that I would get from the books being published, the advances, I would then put into the Bugztopia world and fully fleshing that out, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just need to get back, like, I'm trying to get the Grace pen name to be as good as possible, like, setting it up as much as possible. But it's just taking me a little bit because I'm a little scared to move on to the next step with my picture books. Because the picture books are really the ones that I want to pursue, because picture books, they cost a lot more money to produce, just because they have illustrations and stuff in it. But every time I'm like, oh, I like how this story is, I go back and I'm like, I want to tweak it a little more and stuff, which isn't ideal. But yeah, so it's just, I'm doing a lot of work, and ideally I would like to separate my day into like 3 different writing sprints, and like have like the morning I work on, say, Grace's work or whichever one's the main focus for that week. So I'd focus on Grace's project for the beginning part, then in the afternoon I would work on Shelley's part, and then at night I would start plotting out, which is basically story, like making a guideline for how I would tell the Maris story, because Maris I haven't started writing yet. Yeah, so I would love to do that, but I just don't have the stamina to do it. Yeah. I don't know. If you guys have any questions about pen names and stuff, and oh, I was gonna say, like, the way that I came up with these pen names. Honestly, so I don't know if I told you guys, like, my name is actually Michelle. But the Shelley pen name, like Shelley, Maris, and Grace, just all happened to come to me in some way. Like the Shelley pen name, I originally was like, oh, it's because Shelley's kind of a spin-off of Michelle. But I'm like, that's maybe how it started, but then it evolved into something else. And then with Grace and Maris, I just kind of came up with them. Because like Grace, I originally came up with because like Grace is a very spiritual, holy kind of name. Not necessarily holy name, but like whenever you think of Catholic and faith, you think of Grace kind of thing. And then with Maris, it was more like almost like a fantasy-like name, due to the fact that Maris does write in fantasy and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of all I gotta say about multiple pen names. How I separate them are based on those totes back there. Each tote has a different pen name's work in progress in it. And basically we work through it until it's done, and then we move on. Well, not move on, but we work, whenever we need to work on that project, we set out that specific box, and it's like, okay, let's get out this stuff to then work on this project, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions about multiple pen names and stuff like that, I will gladly answer them. Like I said, multiple pen names are basically different names that I go under when I publish books. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you guys all enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time, okay? Bye!